I am Casual Pharaoh. I am the one and only. Not another one out there like me. So lyricism, intelligence, a message of not necessarily positivity, but thinking, I mean, again, logic. It's the entire basis of who I am as a human being. So that's what you find in my music: logic, reason, and hopefully some entertaining, ridiculous diction. So that's who I am. Yeah, so honestly, it just makes me hungry. It just makes me want to push harder, because like the more and more, stupidity that is put out into music that people just want to latch onto because they feel a certain way about it, I think it's a reflection of the people. I think it's just a reflection of an inability to understand, an inability to comprehend. And so I feel like if you can make something that's entertaining, something that's catchy, and at the same time is delivering intelligence and logic through reason, I think people are eventually going to eat that up, and they're eventually going to look at it. I mean, we know that there's a large amount of people out there. If you look at all the No Life Shacks and all the, reviewers of music, this has become a huge part of the music industry. They aren't reviewing stupid music and saying that it's good. They're reviewing stupid music and saying it's stupid. They're reviewing people like Ren and King Crooked, Eminem, Joyner Lucas, and showing, look at these intelligent bars that they have. Look at this crazy flow they were able to come up with. These sort of things are getting recognition again. So when I hear it and I see it, it just makes me hungry to want to bring forth my brand of intelligence, my brand of music, because I truly think that there's a lot of people that are doing this. It's hip hop is one of the most oversaturated markets that there is in entertainment. I think there's far too many people who think, I could be a rapper. That's a quick way to money and success. It's not. It's a hard road. It's blood, sweat, and tears. It's every day. It's commitment. It's work. It's also my passion, so it makes it easier, but it's still hard work and dedication. So when you look at that holistically, I think it's just something that, it's almost a boon for me. It almost makes it better, because now I just get fueled every time I hear something where it's like, well, I can and will do better than that. Listen, maybe a little bit of egotistical, thoughts coming from my end, but at the same time, I know what I put forth, and I know what I do. What I've been doing this for since I was 11 years old. So, that's 24 years that I've been putting into this game seriously. That's when I said, when I was 11, as I started rapping before that, but when I was 11 was the first time I said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So, so there was this guy who came to my school. He went by Big J, and he rode my bus. He was a lot older than me. I think he was about 6 years older than I was. And he would just freestyle on the bus. And he always wanted somebody to beatbox for him. And I could hold a rhythm, so I was like, I'll try, whatever. But I wrote poetry. I was writing poetry heavy, putting it into, competitions online, tournaments, and I would win. I have like a silver bowl that's got my poem engraved in it that's like this big, that I got from a poetry competition and stuff. So I was always like down with rhyming and words, and the English language has always been like the thing that I've loved the most, because before I was doing poetry, my dream and my want was to be a novelist, like an author. And so I had books that I'd written and everything like that because of how much I loved it. But when I started doing the poetry, I found this different love and this different kind of like obsession with it. And so one day I was beatboxing for Big J on the bus, and he's like, all right, now you go. And so I tried, I went for it, and I think I was 8 at the time, and I was like, all right, I'll go for it, and I knew right after I got done that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because I think anybody who looks at hip hop and knows art and knows the culture, when people freestyle, they can make an ass out of themselves very easily. Like very easily. You can slip up on words, you can not know what you're saying, you can say something stupid, you can say something you didn't mean just because, it's, flow of consciousness coming out. I didn't mean to say that, whatever. But for me, it was like, I gave something that I thought was pretty solid. And when I got done, I didn't feel stupid. I didn't feel, weak, little, small. I felt as good as I'd ever felt. I felt big. I felt like a man, when I was 8 years old. And I don't think it was necessarily that pushed me to say, this is what I want to do. But it was definitely the first step. And then when I got to the point where, man, I'm practicing every day, I'm doing this every day, I'm writing now, I'm doing all that, it was just like, it feels right. It felt like every time I'd write a new page, write a new thing, I got so much more enjoyment out of it than writing multiple chapters for my novels, than, for anything like that. So it kind of just pushed me to be like focused and determined young. And I mean, if it wasn't for other things that happened down the line in life that kind of put a hold on being able to pursue everything as hard as I wanted to, and it was all health reasons, but I feel like I'd be a lot further along than I am now. But it is still just, it's passion. It's something that you have to want to do. And so when you're that young and you decide on something like that, it almost puts you in a position of like, I have to. Like, not that I would have ever done anything else. I've had it. I say it in songs all the time. I've had plenty of opportunity to pivot, but that's not who I am as a person, and that's not really an option in what we do. So it's been the passion, it's been the dream the whole time. And when you see it, you go, I can keep doing this. But it does put that grain in your head of like, if I don't or I stop, then everyone else was right. I'm wrong. I suck. I couldn't do it. I'm a failure. That's kind of where it puts you. So for me, it's like, shit, I won't stop this till I die. Whether I get a hit, whether I get a following, whether anything happens, I do this because I love it. And I think there's a time when you start where you're pursuing the career, you're pursuing the amenities that you can get from the career, but you're not pursuing just the love. Like, it's almost like a thing they say with outdoorsmanship and things. Like, when you're a hunter, you've officially become a true hunter when you can be in nature and just be happy with that. You don't have to kill anything. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to be actively hunting. You can just enjoy being in nature. And that's kind of where I am now, is like, I'm still hungry as ever. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually pushing harder than I've ever pushed and will continue to. But I enjoy being in the space. I enjoy this as my life. I enjoy this as my art, my passion, and my truth. So it's just a matter of finding, is it worth it, at the end of the day. And for me, it is. Definitely comes just from, honestly, probably my upbringing. And in my upbringing, not only did I have parents that were very much about work hard, you get what you work for. No, there's no handouts in this life. I feel like that's a big problem with the hip-hop industry today, is everyone thinks it's a handout. I mean, shit, people think life is a handout these days. They think that you're owed something. Someone's just going to give you something because you demand it, or because you feel like I'm a victim, or I want to play some role in this world. No, you have to work in all walks of life to get what you need. And so learning that from a very young age, I was very inquisitive as a child. So I'd ask my mom questions all the time. Mom, what's this? What's this? And she'd just tell me straight up, okay, this is an encyclopedia. This is a dictionary. This is how you use an encyclopedia. This is how you use a dictionary. My mother taught me how to learn, and therefore she taught me how to work. She taught me the importance of having a strong work ethic. I've had a job since I was 10 years old. So it's a matter of the upbringing as well as just the realization of the truth of it. Like, you can say whatever you want. You can have idealistic, thoughts like, oh, well, it should be this way, or something should happen this way. I should get to go do this or that. No. You have to make it. You have to force the world to give you what you want by earning it, by working hard, or by cheating your way through it, one way or another. But you see, it's the crooks, the determined, and the well positioned in life make it. So for me, I'm not about to be a crook, and I'm certainly not well positioned. I may be dressed nice, but let's be real here. I never had anything close to. I grew up eating cereal with milk or not eating at all, with water or not eating at all. Like, ramen was a luxury, not like I had to eat ramen. No, I was very, very, very poor. I came from a lot of kids, one mother, and I think just seeing how hard she had to work for all of us helped to put that in me, that drive, that want to be more. And also looking at my family and my family state was one of the biggest driving factors in it as well. Because I don't want to pursue success for my own sake. I pursue success for everyone else's sake. If I never make $1 off of music, I'm fine with that. But my family's not. The people that I see have to struggle and work day in and day out, those are the people that I work for. That's why I push so hard, and that's why I will continue to push so hard until it pays off or doesn't. Because it's about what you put in that gives you what you get out. And I need to get something out for the people that matter. Not for me. I won't take a dime. I don't need it. I'll just keep making the music, and that's my goal. That's my treasure, But the house, the cars, all that stuff, that's the things that other people want, that I would love to be able to bestow upon them. So you have to work hard for that. You can't just think, well, it's just gonna magically appear. It was very young. So Before I get into the next little bit here, I'm just gonna have a little aside to say I love my mother greatly. She is a wonderful woman and she does great things. This is not to think less of her or put her down in any way. But when I was very young, my mom, she got with the man who she's with now, so it wasn't like some ill-begotten, run-off fantasy, but she left myself and my, siblings home alone and basically to be raised by my older sister and just ourselves. She was gone constantly. I mean, and when I say gone constantly, it's not like, oh, she would show up at the end, no, weeks or even a month at a time, not seeing our mom, because she's at her boyfriend's house. And so we're raising ourselves, dealing with all sorts of fucking, my brother was a teenager at the time and I was a child. He's 6.5 years older than me, so he was getting in fights constantly. I was getting in fights with people his age from the time I was like 5. So 11, 12-year-olds when you're 5. Years matter when you're young like that. There's a lot of development that happens. So it was her being gone that made me realize, like, oh, they can't take care of me. I have to take care of me. And they can't take care of themselves the way I think they should be taken care of. So I'd like to take care of them as well. Yeah, I love them as my family. I don't want to see them struggle. So when it comes to the whys and the things that happen, it's a lot of it was just necessity. It was a need. We had to band together and work for ourselves and be the adults that we weren't because there was no adult present. And seeing that, for me, it could have made me jaded on life and cynical and everything and say like, well, fuck everything, it's numero uno or nothing. But it did the opposite. It was just like, I care so much about these people that are a part of my life and a part of my heart and my love that I need to give them everything they deserve. And I think they deserve more than they think they deserve. So it becomes a matter of, necessity and love, basically. That's really what makes it doable. Because at the end of the day, it's not like it's easy to care so much like about everyone else. The only times I don't get sleep at night is because I'm worrying about everyone else. Whether I'm good or not, it really doesn't matter up until it starts to affect everyone else being good. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe I got to take care of myself a little bit, otherwise the wheel's going to fall off this bitch. But that's just the way life is. Man, so she got a negative, she gets a positive. My mother instilled in me a love for music at the earliest of ages. I mean, baby on. I mean, I probably don't even remember the first times I was cooing along or whatever to something she was singing. My mother has a 5-octave range. It's the same as Mariah Carey. She used to, sing all the time. She had a dream to want to be a singer, but, had a slew of children. And then reality sets in and life hits and she's working whatever job she can to keep food on the table for all these kids with, no parents around and shit like that. So it was really my mom that got me interested in music in general, which got me listening to all the things that brought me into music to where I am today. When I was young, as far as musical influences, most of my musical influences don't come from hip-hop at all. I grew up, the things that I first started listening to in hip-hop that I do quote as being my influences, DMX was a very big one. A lot of people immediately jumped, it must be Eminem, right? Like, I liked Eminem, but Eminem was never a musical influence on me. He was never like, oh, I want to sound like that, or listen to that bar, that's the way I want to craft that. Like, that man can be the master of internal rhyme all he wants, you know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing. He's a GOAT, but that wasn't my influence. It was Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was DMX. I was listening to, I feel like dark lyricists that were really able to push their emotions and their perspective of the world into their music, like show you, when you listen to some DMX and he's explaining like his walk through the city while he's talking and everything, and you're listening to all the emotion that he puts behind it, that gravelly bark of a voice and everything. It resonated so heavily that it was like, I can see what he's saying. As a young child, I would listen and just, music was the entertainment. Now music is like a part of the entertainment. For me, it was still the entertainment. You sit listening to the music, taking in all the lyrics, listening to the stories they're telling, hearing the soundscapes that are creating these images in your head. That's what brought me. So, big for me was hip-hop wise that. Later on, I listened to Tech Nine, things like that, and that wasn't so much the musical influence as much as it was the business acumen and the drive. most successful independent artist. The amount of music he was putting out for, a few decades span was just, constant improvement until you start getting to the later stuff that then kind of, I feel like, just layered out, fell off a little bit as far as skill-wise and stuff. But that happens, it's not a knock on Tech. Tech's phenomenal. He's fucking one of the greatest rappers ever. But his push, his drive, and his ability to make this work, monetarily without having some Goliath behind you like Interscope Records or Geffen or, Def Jam or any of these big labels, he did it on his own and he built it. And so from seeing that, I really thought, like, maybe I can do the same thing. I started my label and continued rapping. I knew I wanted to be a rapper before I was heavy into Tech 9, but it was very much just that kind of pull that brought me into the game heavier and make it much more serious and like, no, now I know the moves I need to make. Now I know what I should be trying to do. So for that, I give the props there. But music in general, influences in general, I mean, we're talking Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. We're talking, again, Ozzy, but Black Sabbath. We're talking, pretty much think of classic rock, blues, even metal, a lot of alternative rock, heavy hard rock. One of my favorite bands for a long time, and I know I'll get some shit for this, but it's Godsmack. I listen to a lot of different genres of music that really kind of made me into the artist I am today. Because anyone who listens to my stuff knows I do whatever I want. You can't put me in a box and say, well, you're a rapper, so rap. Like, no, if I want to sing this hook, I'm going to sing it. If I want to scream this hook, I'm going to scream it. If I want to make the whole song a ballad where I'm singing love songs to whoever and there's not a single bar in it, deal with it. That's what I'm making. It's my art. But, I mean, heavily influenced by blues music. Tom Waits was a huge, one of my albums, The Devil Waits, is an ode to Tom Waits. And he was just so creative and, again, visceral with his descriptors and his ability to, put his vision into a song where you're right there. You're walking through the farm, you're walking on the railroad tracks, doing the thing, you're sitting at the bar in Jersey, whatever it is that he's bringing to you, you're right there with it, and it really hits hard. So that's kind of like the things that made me want to make the music that I make. And I like to think I have my own unique brand, but we all stand on the shoulders of giants. So, one way or another, you owe to other artists. And for me, it was a lot of that. I mean, I would be wrong if I didn't mention some of my biggest music influences of all time are all just very prominent female singers. I've always loved opera. I've always loved skill in music. Saying whether you like a song or not is one thing, but having skill in music is a different thing. If you can hit that note, if you can hold that note, if you can play that note, if you know how to play that note, if you know how to transition, these are all skills, and I can, quantify who is better at one than another based upon their ability to perform said skills. So, I always just look for the most talented things. If I heard something that was beautiful and crazy and big, that's what I loved. So, I mean, whether it was Celine Dion, Bette Midler, these are the things my mom listened to, sung in the car, and I just listened along as well. Even you go back to Mariah Carey. Just don't like a lot of her music, but you'd be crazy to not say she's one of the best singers of all time, technically speaking. So, but yeah, dark music, heavy music, light music. That's really what I owe everything to, is how much it affected me. So objectively, I like to bring in high-level diction. I like to bring in intricate patterns and wordplay that are not used by, like, if I come up with a flow, it's a flow that I came up with. I don't have to be doing the same flow everyone else is doing. I'm gonna come up with something new. I'm gonna create. I'm a creator in all aspects. Whether it's I want to write a book, I want to make a game, I want to make a video game, I want to make a movie, I want to make a meal. I create. I don't want to just, alter an algorithm, so to speak. I don't want to just tweak something and go, okay, whatever. No, I want to put my stamp on it and make it new and official. So objectively, I like to raise the bar. I like to push anybody listening to listen harder. Listen to my triple, quadruple entendre. Listen to, the double meanings and the intricacies to the words that I pen on the paper. My music isn't the kind of music that's for lazy listeners. Like, if you're just, I want something to jam to and bop to, I have songs for that. But most of what my catalog is engagement of the brain. I want you to think. I want you to, I have the type of lyrics, I want you to want to go back and read them. I want you to go look and be like, what the fuck did he, what? And then read it, and then try and figure it out for yourself. And you might not get it right on the nose, you might get a different opinion from it, but that's what's so beautiful about music, is that while I truly believe the message and meaning of a song is completely finite, it is set by the artist, if you can take a different meaning from it that is personal to you, that you fully comprehend through the song, that's beautiful. Who would want to deny that? Now, if it doesn't line up, if it's something, crazy and dramatic where it's like, oh, I think the song's about jihadism or something, like, no, slow your roll. Then I'll correct somebody. But if it's like, I feel like this song that's about passion and love, it really speaks to me about the love of family or whatever. It might not be about the love of family, but if that's what they were able to take from it, then they took something personal from my art. And that's what it's about. That's really, at the end of the day, this is supposed to stand the test of time, not this. This goes away. The body dies, completely goes away. But the music, the art, as long as humanity's still around, it's eternal. So even if it's not a big blow up, like no one knew about Edgar Allan Poe until after he died, and he's considered one of the greatest poets of all time.
Same with Van Gogh.
It's very much a quantifiable goal to attempt to achieve. Now, subjectively, on the other side of the coin, I really like to be entertained by things that I like to bring into my music, or that I like subjectively, is if it can elicit a certain emotion to me. If I can listen to it and I feel something right away, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad or in between. If I felt something from listening to it, I don't care if it's the worst mumble mouth rap song I've ever heard, and to all you mumble mouth rappers out there, I don't fucking like mumble mouth rap, and I think it's garbage. But if I hear a song and that shit's fire and it makes me feel something while I'm listening to it, I don't give a fuck if it's technically not good. I enjoyed it, and I understand that's the way that all people are. So that's why I don't get on people about, well, you like that song, I think that's trash, whatever. No, you like that song, you must like it for a reason. Props to you, Same with anything, If somebody, I wish I could like everything in the world. I really do. I wish I could like everything in the world. I think if you liked everything in the world that was like to be liked and of a good moral standing and everything, you'd be a much happier person, much more fulfilled person. That's just not the way the world works. We all have opinions, and we all have, hang-ups and differences of thought that make it impossible to like everything. So, but if it makes me feel something and I can enjoy it and put me in a certain place, it's phenomenal. I hate Drake's music. I think Drake is pure trash, fully garbage. That's my personal opinion. I know it's heavy words and people are like, oh my God, I think he's trash. But one of my favorite songs to just bump in the car when I'm driving around is The Language by Drake. It's one of the worst songs ever. It's a pure garbage, but it's a guilty pleasure song of mine because when I listen to it, it hits in a certain way that makes me feel a certain way and kind of brings me back to like my college days. Like, not because that's when I heard the song, just that's the way it makes me feel. Absolutely. It's a great question to pose to me because no matter the state I've lived in, I've never been a rep your city, rep your state kind of guy, ever. My music is about my music and my art. And whether you want to say that's selfish or not, it's beside the point. That's what my music is for. I'm not out here and I'm not a liar. I keep it 100 with every single thing that I do. So if I'm out here trying to claim, Pueblo or Colorado Springs or Denver, that's just not true. That's not where I came from. That's not, where I live. That's not what, makes me feel like making music. And I feel like that's the difference. When you are a state rapper, city rapper, your city is what is part of your drive. I could be anywhere in the world. I could be in Switzerland right now. My drive is going to be the same. So it doesn't affect me in that way. But I can look at it objectively then and say, I think what Colorado's doing amazing right now is just everybody that seems like they're actually doing it serious and they're putting on that work and they're putting the effort in to actually make it, they're making phenomenal music. And like I said off camera earlier, I've been to every state but Alaska and Hawaii. I've seen the music scene in every state but Alaska and Hawaii. And I'm telling you, Colorado is up there. Like Colorado, I feel like for a while everyone was saying, originally it was California or New York were like the big music hubs. And then for a while, recently, a few years back, it was like Atlanta. That's where you want to be for music, especially for hip hop. That's where you want to be. But now I would say Colorado is taking the throne. I mean, I'm not saying that they've taken it, but they're taking it. It is a place that is constantly improving. We have one of the best producers in the entire state, shout out Mixed by Blitz, in the entire country. In fact, he's in the 1% of producers in the whole world and engineers. And he's right here in Colorado Springs. So the levels of these things. I mean, you have I'm trying to think. What's his name? Is it? He was just at the award show and rapped for Kai Cenat.
Oh, K.O.
Kelly. Yeah. Okay. There we go. You got people like K.O. Kelly. You got people like Troy Good. You know, you have people like Ian Taylor. These people who were making big moves and are producing good music. You know, they're producing music that they can hang their hat on that and say, I did what I was supposed to do, and they're putting on for the state. You know, they're doing those things big, and it's really a matter of, I don't know, unification through that growth. I've seen more people working together than, not wanting to work together when you see, oh, that guy's actually kind of fire. Oh, that dude's, well, why don't we do a song with them? Why don't we do a collaboration? I see so much of that happening in the state that it just gives me hope that this is going to be the next Mecca. This is going to be the next spot for hip hop and music in general, where you can't deny that level of skill, that level of credibility, and that level of talent coming out of this state. Now, not being from this state and looking at it, one of the biggest problems in Colorado that I hear all the time, having friends and doing songs with people in Denver, in Springs, in Fort Collins, in Pueblo, everybody hates on everybody way too much. It is so much about, well, if you're not part of the Denver clique, then fuck you, you ain't shit. If you're not part of the Springs clique, fuck you, you ain't shit. Oh, all the best rappers are in Fort Collins. Oh, all the best rappers are in Pueblo. It's nonsense. I am Casual Pharaoh, the one and only. Go look for all of my music. We're looking at Spotify. We're looking at YouTube. We're looking at Pandora. Anywhere you can stream music or buy music, Amazon, Apple, I will be there. Go and find my shit. Check it out. I've got several albums out this year already. We're looking at A Really Bad Day, and we're looking at Just a Casual LP. Those are already out, both fully produced, mixed and mastered by Mixed by Blitz, with several more albums on the way. I have an album with Hayes the Millionaire. I have an album with Mac. I have an album with Mixed by Blitz himself, an album with 80 Spades, and a few other really dope artists coming out this year, as well as 2 more solo projects from myself. My next solo album is coming out September 26th. That's Games That Raised Me Volume 1. Every song is a video game. You're going to love it. Shit's in chronological order, starting with Super Mario, and that's all the spoilers you're going to get on that one. Be sure to check my shit out on all platforms, everywhere you can find it. Casual Pharaoh, that's Pharaoh. This is Peaks to Streets. I'm your boy Casual Pharaoh. Peace.